EU fines Meta $400 million for serving online activity-based ads. The action taken by the Irish regulator against the owner of Facebook strikes the digital advertising sector. One of the biggest blows to the digital advertising sector in the EU has come from a top privacy regulator's decision that Meta Platforms Incorporated. Meta 2.37% increase, green up pointing triangle can't use its contracts with Facebook and Instagram users to justify sending them ads based on their online activity. The decision was made public on Wednesday by Ireland's Data Protection Commission, which also fined Meta €390 million, or $414 million. For violating EU privacy laws by claiming that such advertisements are required to carry out contracts with customers. Instagram and Facebook's parent company, Meta, stated that it disagrees with the decision and intends to appeal both it and the penalty. Litigation may last for years, but if the rulings stand, Meta may be forced to let customers opt out of adverts based on how they use its own apps, which may be detrimental to the company's primary business. The two rulings from Ireland, one for Facebook and the other for Instagram, give the companies 3 months to stop defending their use of so-called behavioral adverts, which are targeted based on a user's online activities, by invoking their user contracts. However, Meta may ask for a delay in enforcing the rulings while it files an appeal. The Wall Street Journal previously reported that Ireland's privacy regulator said it made its decisions after a body representing all privacy regulators in the Union instructed it to do so last month over the Irish regulator's concerns. Due to the fact that Meta's European headquarters are located in Dublin, the country is in charge of enforcing the EU's General Data Protection Regulation. The Irish rulings are noteworthy because they might prevent Meta from using some of the data it gathers through its own apps. The rulings do not expressly require Meta to obtain users' permission before using their activity data for ad targeting, but they do rid of the contractual legal reason Meta currently relies on. According to privacy attorneys and activists, the company has limited additional options under EU legislation to defend such advertisements. The company is looking at solutions to keep providing users with personalized services, Meta said on Wednesday. The decisions do not restrict personalized advertising on its platforms. The business asserted that it opposes the notion that obtaining consumers' consent would be required to fulfill its legal obligations under EU legislation and underlined a lack of regulatory certainty in this area. We strongly believe our approach respects GDPR, and we're therefore disappointed by these decisions, a spokesman said. Users have had the option to stop personalizing advertising based on their usage of other websites and apps for a long time thanks to Meta. However, Facebook doesn't offer users any way to reject advertisements based on information about their usage of its own platforms, such as the posts they comment on or the Instagram videos they view. According to analysts, the internal data is one of Meta's key resources for creating tailored audiences for the targeted ads it sells as part of its primary advertising business. For the 9 months that concluded on September 30, Meta earned $83 billion in advertising income, about a quarter of which came from Europe. According to Ali Mogharabi, an analyst at Morningstar Research Services, after the journal's piece on the impending ruling last month. prices for Meta's advertising may decrease by as much as 10% to 20% in the worst-case scenario, wiping off 12% to 25% from the company's valuation. When Apple Incorporated mandated that iPhone app developers ask users if they want their usage to be recorded, Meta in 2021 saw a decline in revenue. Many iPhone users rejected that tracking, depriving Meta of a large amount of information it uses to target advertisements. According to the business, the shift will cause an 8% drop in revenue in 2021. The ruling made on Wednesday serves as a warning to the internet advertising sector. Behavioral advertisements are used by many businesses. But even when dealing with data that a corporation acquires on its own, several EU privacy regulators have insisted that such ads require user consent in a way that makes it easy to say no. For instance, the French privacy watchdog CNIL penalized Apple €8 million on Wednesday for allegedly failing to obtain sufficient prior consent before reading user information from iPhones and using it to target advertisements. According to the FDA, this consent is now requested by the company's latest operating system, iOS 15. Apple declared it will appeal the decision and expressed disappointment with it. In Ireland, the privacy watchdog has already penalized Meta in 5 separate cases over the course of the previous 18 months, close to $1.4 billion. According to a late 2017 Irish corporate filing, the company's Irish unit had allocated roughly €3 billion as of December 31, 2021, up from €1.97 billion a year earlier, for privacy fines in the EU. The ruling on Wednesday also demonstrates the disparities across European nations over how to implement the GDPR with regard to advertising. Ireland initially suggested a significantly lower penalty for smaller infractions, concluding that nothing in the GDPR prevented Meta from including behavioral advertising as a requirement in its agreement with users as part of the deal made for a particular service. However, a number of other EU privacy regulators dissented, claiming that the provision of a social network does not necessitate the use of behavioral adverts. As part of a dispute resolution procedure incorporated into the GDPR, a board of all EU privacy regulators, the European Data Protection Board, this month overruled Ireland. The European Data Board's decision regarding behavioral advertising was changed, the Irish Data Protection Commission announced on Wednesday. The EU Privacy Board made decisions last month ordering Ireland to launch new investigations into all of Facebook's and Instagram's data processing operations. But the Irish regulator also stated it plans to seek the annulment of a different section of those rulings in the upcoming weeks. According to the Irish regulator, conducting these inquiries may involve an overreach on the EDP beyond what the GDPR allows. When contacted for comment, members of the European Data Protection Board were unavailable right away. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.